Okay, I think we've got Tom and Kyle with us. I think.
Hey, CC.
Hey, there you are.
Yeah.
How's it going today?
Great. How about you?
It's been really good. It's the first day I felt like I've had control of my schedule and gotten things done that were supposed to get done on the time they were supposed to get done. It's taken a while to get there.
That's a good feeling, I know.
It really is. It really is.
Hey, Cece, how are you?
Hey, Kyle, I'm good. I can't see you. Why can't I see you?
I think I'm on my phone. That's probably, I'm juggling the computer.
Ah,
Let me turn some lights on, figure this out.
yeah, because it does help if you're in the light. It's funny. I was on a Zoom intended to teach us how to prepare our physical space and the Zoom platform for different ways of teaching through Zoom. And one of the things was to set up an entire lighting system because I think mine's a little bit dark. Despite the fact my office is very light, I have a lot of natural light in here. Where it's placed has something to do with it. I still don't get the lighting thing.
Something about my settings. That's what I'm looking for right now. Oh boy.
Since I opened up every possible teaching option on Zoom, the menu bar I have is absurd. It's got so many things. It's like, I don't know which one to click anymore. That's good. All right. Well, I have 3 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and get started. We are recording, so I'll be posting this on our YouTube channel. Oh, wait. Kyle got himself stuck back in the waiting room somehow. There you are. Now there's 2 of you. Can you hear me, Kyle?
Yeah, I had the, I'm not, did it work?
Yeah, I have 2 of you. I can see you on your phone. Are you still on your computer or tablet? Oh, now there's just 1 of you.
Okay.
Or 2 of you is fine with me. I can juggle that. Come on.
I don't know what I get to have 2. That's pretty cool, I guess.
Awesome. Awesome. So I have a cheat sheet that I've created, a commissions and command cheat sheet, and you guys are my test subjects. See if the cheat sheet works. Have you guys done a commissions tab yet?
I think I've started one. I know I turned in a green sheet earlier, I think at the end of March, but I haven't really gone through and done the opportunity in command yet.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at what it is. So opportunities down here, it's our 2 hands holding. That's our applet for opportunities that gets us to commissions. I'm not going to go through the different pieces. I'm just going to go straight to, this is where we get all of our pieces here. The details, this one I happen to have chosen a listing. This is one of my good friends. She's a director of operations in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. She knows that I have her in here as a test subject. So if she accidentally gets a notification from me, she knows it's not real. Because I'm not an agent, so I don't have real contacts and real opportunities. I had to make some up. Because this one's a seller, it's got the seller profile, it's got the documents. Kyle, this is probably where you'd be starting, is uploading your documents. You said you had one started and then putting in, do you have one that's under contract?
Yeah, yep. We are under contract and we're set to close in 3 weeks.
Okay, so this is actually an ideal time to come in and do this. Because you can put in your offer details from the ratified contract, so that's all in there. That will all automatically, anything you put in offers will automatically filter into the commissions tab. So it kind of starts it for you.
Okay.
Okay. Now, don't be alarmed by the giant red bar at the top of mine. Remember, I'm not a real agent. And Command knows that. Command knows that I don't have all this stuff. So let's see, it can't be 0. So let me just fill in a few numbers here and get rid of a few of these lines. Commission can't be that. There we go. It wants this to be in the current period. It wants my units. I'm trying to reset it. I should have done this earlier. 87. Whoop. Too many zeros. Although that'd be a really nice commission, wouldn't it? $87,000, 500. That would be a really nice commission. All right. Okay, that's as few red bar lines as I can get without being an agent and having a real opportunity. All right, so the $875,000 sale price came over from my offers. You can see I put in 2 offers. One of them is accepted. That's how you open up the commissions tab. It also auto-filtered in my commission. Why I gave myself a 1% commission, I don't know. I was being cheap that day. If I changed this commission, it's going to update. You can see it. Let's say I gave my 7 commission. It's like $61,000. We should all go for 7% commissions. Let's bring it back to something a little more normal. So 3% commission on 875 is going to give us 26,250. So these are the things that are going to come in. It's going to just kind of assume that you're starting out as a solo agent. So Tom, this one's going to track pretty nicely for you. Kyle, you're on a team. So yours is going to look a little different because, and I'm making an assumption here because I don't know how Tommy has things set up, but Tommy's going to be the first agent listed in the opportunity because he's the team leader. Okay. So we'll go over this. We'll have to add you to it and figure out the split. So we'll come to that in a little bit. So a couple of things I want you to keep in mind. These are what I call commissions and command basics. 1, commission amount must match the amount on the check. Okay, this is the commission amount. This is what's auto-filtered in from the offer. Sometimes when we go through from ratified contract, we start with this information, we make concessions, we agree to reduce our commission for some reason. We offer to pay for a warranty or a repair. Something goes wrong, and we as the agents make these concessions. And the amount of the final check changes. Sometimes the price changes. That makes the amount of the final check different. The most important thing you can do is update this number right here, even if it doesn't match 3% commission, that's fine. So let's say there were $10,000 in something that went on, and we gave that away. We gave that back in some fashion. So that reduced our total commission. The check that actually makes it to my office is now $16,250. So we're gonna do that. So that's one of the most important things that we need to have happen. Okay. That's also going to filter down here. Again, I'm going to do the solo agent. So Tom, this one's for you. We're going to need the same thing down here in total commission, because this is where we start the agent breakdown. So in the green sheet, this is where you start to have, do I have a referral? Do I have any deductions? Am I paying a closing coordinator out of this? Do I owe PC coaching anything? What else can be there? We got all kinds of things there. So this is where we start the agent breakdown. We see that the check that came in is $16,250. If I owe royalty, it's going to tell me how much it's going to take out in royalty. If I owe company commission, if I still owe towards my cap, it's going to tell me how much it's going to take out of this check per cap. And looks like I'm in coaching. And it's going to tell me how much I'm taking out for coaching. Now it knows this because add item. This is one of my favorite features of the entire command thing. It keeps everything clean. In Green Sheets, you had to filter through all of these lines and figure out which one was which. Command, it's not there until you need it. It keeps all the, it filters out all of the extras. So if you're in coaching, so Tom, this one would be good for you. You would choose a deduction. Coaching is a deduction. It's a 5%. So you figure out that I'm not sure why I came up with 650. That's 5%. This is PC coaching, pay to Katrina Rokel. Add. I got a lot of coaching. Now, if I received a bonus, let's say in addition to the $16,250, I received a bonus check of $4,000. Happens kind of frequently on the new home construction. That's typically where I see the bonus checks. So this we're going to put right here. Now, our market center, this is something I'll point out, our market center does not default to make you split your bonus checks. Some market centers do. You decide. If you want to split it with the market center and use some of that bonus check to pay towards your cap, that's fantastic. We will absolutely let you do that. If you want it all for yourself, you can keep it all for yourself. Okay, we're going to add that bonus in there, and it should have showed up right here. And you see that it also came right back into that bottom amount. Now maybe you have an outside referral. This is where I'll remind you it's very important that you have a referral agreement signed and in command, and you get the W-9 before closing, well before closing from that referral agent. Because we have to have, you actually have to put in here the tax ID number, their federal ID number to even ask for commission. Okay, so I'll remind you of that. One of the more interesting things here is there's a broker name and an agent name. And unfortunately, it doesn't play nice with our system. This is one of my other kind of nuances for command. We put the brokerage name in both places. So we'll say this is one of our more popular ones is Dave Ramsey. Lampo Group is also a popular one. It's not going to let me save it without putting all the information in. Can I? We will pretend that's a federal EIN. We'll say this is a 30% referral. It's one of the nicer parts here. It will auto calculate that from the master amount. Just gonna let it make up some, there, let it make up some things. So I can add in that outside referral. Now you can see it came in. The bonus is still here. That's above the referral. It's only adding to the top amount. Then we have the outside referral. Kind of shows you the order in which the math occurs. That's one of the things that has been a little mysterious to a lot of folks. It's not always easy to read that DA sheet and figure out in what order the math occurs. So you can figure out how much you're going to walk away with at the end of the day. So they built this system so that you could see the order of the math, and when you get down to the bottom, you get your check amount. All right. Couple more add items. Inside referral. Who knows what an inside referral is? Who can tell me?
In office referral. Maybe.
Okay. It's between two agents in the same market center. A referral that comes from one agent who's not on your team to you from within the market center. We've got a couple of pairs of people who do this pretty regularly. It's not a terribly common thing to happen. So that's why a lot of people don't think about it. It's got some unique challenges. One of the things, one of the times you cannot use it, if you are already capped, you can't pay out an inside referral to somebody else. I'm still looking for a good answer for that. I don't like the answers I have so far. I think that's really weird. So I'm still looking for a good answer for that one. But this would be, if somebody else in the market center had a great lead but couldn't handle it, didn't want to handle it for some reason, and asked you if you wanted it, you can say yes, this is where it goes. Typically, inside referrals are flat fees as opposed to percentages, typically. One of the first one I remember handling, I was director of operations, inside referral. My lead agent was the listing agent for one of the other agents' homes in the market center. So the other agent decided she didn't want to list and represent herself for her house. She was highly emotionally attached to her house for various reasons. So it was a more logical business choice to pay another agent $1,000 to be her listing agent. She still handled all the, the photos and all the setup and the MLS listing and everything. All my agent had to do was talk to the people who came in the showings. So that's kind of how, a lot of times, how an inside referral works. Again, not something that happens terribly often. The final, there are 5 things in this add item collection. The final one is a concession. So I'm going to tell you, you don't need to worry about concessions because our market center does not approve concessions. Those happen at the closing table and the attorney pays them out from the attorney's account. They don't make it into our check. So that is, again, something like you make a concession. It's often a last minute kind of thing. Repairs didn't go quite right and you still want the closing to happen, so you make a $500 concession. You pay out $500 extra to the seller or to the buyer, whichever direction that's going, in order to get the deal closed. So those are things that happen at the closing table. They're taken out of the check before it arrives to the market center. That's why we don't acknowledge concessions, because they've already happened before the money comes to the market center to pay you. Okay, so that's one you're not going to have to use here. Questions about the item types. The bonus isn't showing up because we already put that one in. So there are the 5 add item types. Kyle?
If I can't remember while I was taking bold and I got this one under contract while in bold.
Yep.
There was something, I think there was a $200 reimbursement from. How would I implement that into the command, or is that something you have on for that I need to present to you?
I love that question. I thank you so much for it. So I'm going to scroll up to the top just so I can get you there. So this is the top, and you have this summary over here on the right. Scroll down, you have an add note. So the bold reimbursement is a program that we offer. It's not officially a piece of the commission or the closing. So we're not going to put it in with the numbers over here in the closing. We're going to add a note. We're going to say bold reimbursement.
Okay.
That's it.
Cool.
If you were paying out an outside referral, since we don't put the agent's name in with the outside referral information, this is where you would put referral agent Susie Q. So that way I know what name to put on the check, so when it gets to her brokerage, it's easy to find out who it is. It's one of the things that annoys me the most, I have to say, when I get a referral check in the mail, because they always come in the mail, and the agent's name isn't on it. And I have to do what I did today, send out that the email, say, I've got somebody's money, but I don't know whose.
I saw that today.
About once a month I have to do that. A lot of agents will call me and tell me they're expecting a referral check from a certain area or something like that. So I keep a list, but sometimes it's a surprise. So we'll go ahead and add those notes, and you see they show up right over here. Okay. All right. Tom, at this point, that's all the options, all the needs available for a solo agent. Is there anything you wanted me to walk back through or show you?
No, I think I'm good, CC.
Okay, fantastic. So now I'm going to, and this is always the fun part because I'm not on a team. I can't put myself on a team because I'm not an agent and that would mess somebody's team up. So I can get you almost all the way, Kyle, to showing you how to put another agent on. So you see up here, I've got the units here. Whoops, let's go. So there's 1 unit. Each commission request is for 1 unit. It can never be more than 1 unit because we only do 1 side at a time in a commission request. So we've got our master up here. We know this is our total check. So we come to the agent breakdown, and this is where we're going to start to split between agents. We're going to say this is going to be a 50-50 split, so that makes this 8175. Okay, so you saw that it kind of did a little update, right? You saw that piece? When I did that, when I changed that number, a new link comes up down here at the bottom, add agent. Now, like I said, this is where mine stops. I don't have an agent to add. But on your team, you would have yourself, you'd have Tommy, you've had Wendy, Autumn, she's on your team, right?
I believe so, yes.
4 of you? I feel like there's 1 more.
Oh, and Lauren Schwab.
There we go. That's who I'm missing. So you'd have that list here to choose. So like I said, and I'm making an assumption because I don't know how Tommy has his set up, that he'd be the first agent listed, and then so he'd put himself in, make the adjustment for the piece that he gets, and then he would add you, and that's where your piece would come in. So let's pretend that this is you. This is your section. So I did it based on a 50-50 split, but that means you don't get a whole unit. So we use this is where command's a little finicky still. We have to use our plus and minus buttons to get ourselves to the right unit. If you try to use your cursor and type it in, it won't take. So that's why I can give you that little update. And then you see that things adjust down here. This is also where, if you guys are splitting the bonus, we'll pretend that the closing came with a bonus. This would be up to your team rules as opposed to market center rules. Maybe you and Tommy are going to split the bonus. He gets 200, you get 200. This is where you would put that in as well. A number of teams also split the outside referral. So this is where you would say you get half of it charged to your side, he gets half of it charged to his side, or 70-30. We've got teams that do 70-30 or 40-60, and they'll adjust the referral so they get a portion of it that matches their portion of the split. So these are some things to think about and to check on in your agreement with Tommy about what your splits are and how that affects some of the deductions, some of the referrals, some of the bonus, and those sorts of things that you're expecting as part of this closing.
Okay.
Where things don't split is your royalty and your company commission. Those are not affected by your team agreement at all, and they never will be. Those come off of, so you see these are less than it used to be because these are coming off of the 81.75. They're not coming off that 16. So the 16,250 is still up here. That was the total commission. Remember? So when you do the agent breakdown, it's now only coming off of your piece of it, not the total. Does that make sense?
Is that the email that I received about the new commissions? Is that already implemented into command as far as the 80? I forget what whatever the split was.
So that's not a command thing. That's a system thing.
Okay.
So command is going, so because that's temporary, the 8515, because that's temporary, we're not actually changing that in the system. I am monitoring that manually. I have a tracker that I'll be using. So you're not going to, actually this works in your benefit because what you're going to see, where did the company dollar? So what you're going to see is that 30% of your check is coming out for company dollar. So this is going to look like it's taking more out than what's really going to come out over the next 3 months. Because I'm going to, when I do it, when I run it through the system, I'm going to manually change that to 15.
Okay.
So less is going to come out. Now, we'll say royalty does not change. That's a KWRI number. I actually don't even have the ability to change that.
Mm-hmm.
But I will be adjusting the company commission to 15. So you'll actually be getting more than command tells you.
Okay.
In your check.
And do I have to change that in the green sheet that I submitted a while back, or no?
You don't. What you are going to do is submit the commission tab. I'm not even going to look at the green sheet.
Okay.
Yeah, but you said your closing's in 3 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I won't even look at the green sheet. I'll be looking for a commissions tab.
Okay, so simply command commission tab in here is what you'll be reviewing. Okay. Cool.
Yep. I have to tell you, this is one of the most fantastic changes, fantastic improvements on getting commission DAs correct. With green sheets, I have to manually transfer everything from the green sheet into the DA, which means my fingers have a lot of opportunities for error, for getting things backwards, for getting things wrong, for missing numbers. The commissions tab takes that error out of things. One, it gives you a lot more information up front in understanding how things are being calculated and what you're going to end up with in your check. And on my side of things, it takes a lot of the error opportunity out of the way and makes things a lot faster and a lot easier to get done. Now here's my favorite part of this. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Oh, wow.
Now again, because I'm not an agent, it's not going to let me submit. But you guys would have, this would be a bright green. And once you were confident that you had all of your numbers incorrectly from your ratified contract and your team agreement splits and things like that, click submit. Your next question should be, what if something changes between when the contract ratifies and when it closes? What do you think is going to happen?
We may not get paid.
Now, I'm going to show you something that I actually, okay, you guys are really special. I have not ever showed anybody this. Oh. I'm going to grab one. No, I need one that's actually done. Let me do this instead. Come on, load. See, these are some commissions that have actually been submitted. Come on, do what I tell you. I'm waiting for them to highlight so I can open one up. There we go. So this is what I do. I click the review button. If there's something that doesn't match up with the closing documents, or the agent calls me and says, something changed and I need to update it, I have this fancy return button. So I can send it back to you and you can make all the changes you need and send it back to me. That way we're assured that what you intend in your check and what matches the closing documents is what makes it to me and what makes it into the system. Otherwise, we're in that, well, last time Evan wanted this, so maybe he probably wants it this way again, even though he didn't type it in there. There's no guessing. There's no guessing. Let me drop this one off because that's somebody else's. So that's, even when we get to the end of things, I can return it to you. You can make the adjustments. Sometimes I will ask you to make the adjustments. If I find discrepancies between the closing paperwork and the check I received and what you put in the commission tab, I'll send it back to you and say, this needs to match, or your outside referral information doesn't match what's in the W-9, so let's get that updated. Otherwise, you're paying the wrong people. That's the kind of thing. Because my legal obligation is to do what that commission request says, not to guess or interpret or be the fact checker, because I'm not the agent. I'm not the one who made the contract with the client. So we're balancing compliance and legal obligations with getting you what you deserve. So that's my goal. But yeah, commissions really is that simple.
Cool.
So what other questions do you have? Think about the deals you've got going or deals you've had in the past and how they might be reflected differently on the commissions tab than what we just talked about.
Well, being that this is my first one, I won't really know until this one goes
Hey,
through.
no time like the present.
Right.
What about how it meets your expectations then?
It seems pretty cut and dry. I mean, I was kind of, I don't want to say naive, but I was like, oh man, I don't know anything really about it. I mean, I've dove into it a little bit, but I haven't. No, I mean, that was fairly cut and dry as far as step by step what to do. So
Awesome.
doesn't seem too difficult.
Okay. You said you've done, you tried out a green sheet. How does this compare with your experience doing that?
Oh, so much easier than a green sheet.
Yeah. In what ways?
It's not that the green sheet was hard, because it basically gave you step by step of what to fill out, what was needed. It just seemed like it was just kind of, it took forever to fill out a green sheet. This is just like in your face, click, 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 put in, and then you're done.
Okay.
I guess there was more room for error with the green sheet, if that makes sense. There's like,
Like that. Okay. Yeah.
Different preferences and different boxes and different things to check that you probably didn't need to check, but you checked them anyway thinking you needed to. I guess that's probably the best way to describe that.
Yeah. Tom, what about you?
I'm curious about as you progress along during the year, tracking your royalty cap and your market center cap, and knowing how to calculate, because I never did that before on the green sheet. I always kind of put it in there, but see, I've always been right underneath capping. Like I think I probably finished up this past year just below cap status, or maybe one deal below cap status or whatever. But I had hit the royalty cap, but I had not hit the market center cap. And so I was totally unaware at my previous MC. I was totally unaware that I had actually nailed the royalty cap, and so the MCA there made me aware of it on the last deal that I had.
Good.
And
Good
so I wasn't sure if we're inputting this. That's one of the things with the green sheet that I was never sure about. If I'd hit it, I just didn't figure I'd hit it yet, but I didn't realize I'd hit the royalty cap when I did. So
okay. Awesome. I love that question.
Mm-hmm.
So let me pop back in here. So it's one of the things that they do when you're filling out any particular one. It'll show you what you've paid in and what you have left. So your royalty cap is $3,000. The second one will show you what you've paid in since the last transmittal. That's something I will identify. So Command does not update in real time. It updates once a month when we do transmittal. So I just did transmittal last Wednesday. So Command is currently showing what you've paid in since your anniversary date. So it'll tell you the total due, what you've paid in so far is your actual, and what your balance is, what you have left to pay. So you'll be able to see this on an individual transaction by transaction basis here. Let me find where I put the rest of my websites, and I will show you where to find
I think it was in reports or something like that that you could see that information, but I
What's
never
that?
knew. Wasn't it in reports or?
It is. I'm getting ready to pull that. I just need to get change the screen I'm sharing so you can see what I've got. Should be that one. So go into reports. Oh, well, that's awfully fun.
Huh.
I can't say I've seen that screen before. Is it really unhappy with me today? Let's give it another shot. Oh, I think it's going to work this time. This is one I found not too long ago. So when you go into reports, choose associate, and is it income summary? I think it's income summary. And mine's fun because there isn't anything there. This is what it is. So March, this is my, oh goodness. It should not be showing you somebody. Tom, do you mind terribly much if I pull yours up?
No, not at all.
Okay. Where are you? Okay, there we go. So it shows, this is what mine looks like.
Yeah,
It shows,
yeah.
so far in March, you have no production to report. Your calendar year to date, no production. This will be your anniversary. Let's see, your anniversary is March. So you just started over.
Yeah.
So this is definitely when you want to be having your closings, getting that done, getting that cap out of the way.
So my anniversary month is, see, that would be with the new market center. So they actually change your, I guess they would do that, wouldn't they? They change your anniversary date to reflect where you move to. You know, in my case, I moved from the university to the Lake Norman office. So my date was in May. But now it'll be March because I think I signed on the last week of February.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Okay. Yeah. So
So
I don't
March
show
1st
anything.
is, yep.
I definitely don't show anything with Cornelius. Okay, great.
Right. So that's, you know, what you'll see here accrue is, so you can check this as many days as you want out of the month. Nothing's going to change here until yeah, this is for March. This is showing March. You won't see anything reflected for April until I transmit at the beginning of May.
Gotcha.
So it'll be static for the month. It changes dates once a month.
I guess you know it's a much easier process because you didn't have that process with the green sheets. You'd have to go look at your reports and see where you were.
Yes.
And then, but with Command, you're going to be able to do it right there on that commissions tab. So it's a much cleaner process. It looks like to me.
I will say on the production record keeping side of things, because that's the big part of transmittal, I actually have to verify every single transaction.
Wow.
That it happened correctly, that it's been recorded correctly. That's why it's so stressful and why I close my door. Every interruption is an opportunity for error in that, and I want to make sure that when I transmit that it is the most possibly accurate data of what you guys have done is what goes up to the corporate office. It's how things get counted for awards quarterly and at the end of the year. It's how your income is tracked for the 1099s and for profit share. So it's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal. But those are the two ways to keep track of what is happening with your royalty and cap, the transaction by transaction in the opportunities themselves. When you're in the commissions tab, you can see the effect of that individual transaction on your royalty and cap, and then this monthly report that updates as part of transmittal. Some folks they make up their own a spreadsheet or Google sheet to keep track of it. They'll record what's come out in each category from each DA, and they'll use that to keep track of how close they are and when they should cap on different things. So, but one of the things that I do it's one of my most fun things, because when I'm processing a DA, a closing check, the program actually dings. There's an audible ding when I'm moving through the math, and I get to the company dollar section, and if you've capped, the program dings.
I love that.
So I actually get I get a bell. So the first, I listen to that every single time it happens. I see when it happens. I can literally watch the moment you cap. It's usually part of a particular transaction. The whole company dollar doesn't come out. You only have, a couple hundred towards it, and it'll ding, and I can see that a couple $100, and the rest of it goes right back into your check right in that moment. I can literally watch the numbers change on the screen, and it's a really cool moment. So I will actually, when that happens, I will send you an email when it happens with royalty and when it happens with cap. So when I send you that DA to review, I will tell you, you just capped on royalty, you just capped on company dollar. So you'll know almost as soon as I do. But you'll know, it won't be a surprise when the announcement comes out the beginning of the next month that you're one of the agents who capped.
Super.
So that's one of the special parts of my job is getting to make those announcements to folks. So awesome. That was a great question, Tom. I appreciate it. Ann Canosa asked about that. I think it was last month sometime. Sent me on a hunt for all of the different ways you could possibly track your cap during the month. And this report is the cleanest one. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys joining me. I am going to, like I said, I had kind of typed up my notes. This is what I used to go through, and I'm going to add some notes from your questions on here as well and post it to the Facebook group. If it's all right with you guys, I might tag you guys both in it and ask you to comment on it, take a look at it, tell me what I missed, tell me what else you think of that should be on this. I'm calling it a cheat sheet. It's commissions and command basics, just trying to keep things simple and easy for folks.
Very helpful. Thank you, CC.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Appreciate it.
Send me questions as they come up. Kyle, let's definitely talk and see how things are supposed to work with your team agreement and make sure we get that first commission tab done up just right.
For sure. I was actually going to ask you if you had time to chat via phone after this, or if you had something else going on, if you wanted to spend time to talk about that specific thing.
Yeah, if you want to call me, yeah, we can chat right now.
Awesome. Thanks, CC.
You got it. Thanks, Tom. See you guys later.